Welcome to Commander Pop Culture, a place to gather magical information, with some laughs, might I add. Hello everyone, I'm playing the budget Eldrazi Unbound deck that I built a while ago, got kind of put on the back burner due to Wilds of Eldrazi spoilers. So, I got time between now and talking about the spoilers of, we call it the Doctor Who Commander decks and that little ancillary set that they're making. I'm going to play some games, going to build some decks. Because I'm kind of behind, I will do the deck building videos for the Wilds of Eldrazi that's coming out. But let's go over this list real quick. This is slightly modified, but it should be a better list than what you get in the sealed product. You can get the Eldrazi Unbound deck on MTGO for $40. I built this one, comes down to $36. Basically, I'm saving you a couple of bucks and you end up with a better product if you do it this way. Playing budget decks because I think it's realistic for people to own and play themselves. Magic is a hobby, not a livelihood for me, so I should only be recommending and playing budget decks more often because it's realistically what people can afford, which is why I like it. Every card in my list has a price cap. Not a single card is recommended to you greater than $5, meaning you could find things in your trade binder, in other people's trade binders really easily. If I'm recommending them, that means I play them myself, and they're worth owning and keeping. Most of the cards don't even come close to $5. The other good thing is when I built this deck on here, I only had to invest $17 to buy the cards. So that means I already owned a lot of these to begin with in my very strong, powerful decks. If this deck ever stands the test of time and you ever want to make it as powerful as you can, but you won't have to change the entire deck to do it. Let's see what it's worth in paper. Prices in paper is a heck of a lot different than prices in MTGO in terms of what you can get for the cheapest. So my list comes $150. Let's change it here. This deck is worth $116. I'm curious if that's the updated sealed price on TCG Player now. $100. The tech of the deck that you can't find on EDH Rec.
Nice rhyme.
A little bit of a rhyme master is my 4-drop slot. I really love Trading Post, and I really love Erratic Portal, mostly because it lets me return my 7-drop or bigger cards and play them again so I can keep getting more triggers with my commander. I feel like this is gas. I can keep that. The Semblance Anvil is pretty awesome. I'll have to, hopefully I find a not as awesome artifact to exile other than my Darksteel Monolith. That thing's pretty awesome in this deck. By the way, if I do have cards more than $5 in here, it comes with the already pre-constructed deck. That's my one exception to my dollar cap. I guess in comparison to the already sealed deck version is, this is an upgrade because my deck's $50 more than what it is now. The price has fallen quite significantly in the last 2 weeks, which is a good thing. Commander decks, they should not be what they were at Commander Masters release. I think they were grossly overpriced because when Commander products first started coming out, it was $40, and the inflation rate since 2013, it's only gone up 15%. So going up to what this deck was at 150 plus, you're out of your damn minds. For what was in it, I was not very impressed for a $150 value. The Mikaeus had a pretty solid start, soloing into Sword of the Animist. And then the other players were against a mono-red Zurzoth deck. They're all making Devils and drawing / discarding cards at random, and then we're against a token Boros deck that lets you rip cards off the top with a impulse effect. Another Soul Ring. Wonder who he had draw. It was either gonna be me or the mono red deck because we were the two furthest behind by a mile. He definitely was gonna pick the Mikaeus player. He's his top competitor. Maybe he felt more compelled to hook me up because I'm in colorless and I have the smallest card pool. If that was his reasoning, then that's a good one. Keep the Accord, that's nice. They are in a solid lead over everyone, so they're not going to get a whole lot of sweet, juicy triggers off of it yet. If you're new here, welcome. I know MTGO doesn't look pretty, but the economy of acquiring cards is awesome. You literally pay pennies on a dollar to build decks. You heard me earlier. This is like a $150 deck, and I spent $17 just to acquire cards I didn't have. And it's very similar to Arena in terms of you only need one copy, and that copy could be used in multiple decks at the same time. I might still exile the Darksteel Monolith. If I Semblance Anvil the Monolith, I could follow Blink Moth in the next turn and then have enough mana to cast my commander. I'll eventually get to Kozilek to refill my hand and get Cascade triggers. It'd be a brutal blowout if my Semblance Anvil gets exiled or destroyed in some kind of fashion. Other stories I want to talk about. I've had some rotten luck with this deck.
Curse? What curse?
The first time I tried recording, the internet went out and you got to miss out on that sweet tech where I was looping a creature with affinity for artifacts, either from my graveyard or bouncing it back with Erratic Portal. And I was about to win the game and then couldn't finish it. And then my second game, I got blown out by a Arumi deck that just naturally drew all their best mill cards, played them, and then just killed us with a Gray Merchant and that the dragon that also drains you for 5 life. That game ended in 5 turns, and that was a budget deck. And then I recorded a third game where I actually won with this, but my settings got erased and the footage just looked ugly. It was like I had the entire third of my right screen cut off. Here I am now filming a 4th time. I don't mind. I like playing this deck. It's kind of a big dumb Timmy deck. I would have liked that Sanctum of Ugin. Oh well, I got better fodder now for my Semblance Anvil. I get rid of Sandsunk Oracle. Spacious Dragon makes treasures. My Blinkmoth Urn's going to be very helpful. Hopefully he uses those treasures. Nope. Okay. He'll have 3 bonus mana from me in his opening next turn. That's just the risk you take playing Blinkmoth Urn. In a deck where you run 54 artifacts, you kind of accept the risks of hooking people up with a bunch of mana because you should be making the most off of things like Blinkmoth Urn. And that's why people run it. I like Skyclave Relic. I think I run it in this deck. It's just a big amount of mana. Same reason why I run Gilded Lotus. My mana curve is actually really wonky. I run as many 7 drops because it's the minimum required to get those Cascade triggers, so I run a lot of them. And I need big mana rocks to get me there. Skip this combat, you could have got a land. Again, my Blinkmoth Urn is going to be helping out the middle player because now they got an additional 3 artifacts. Although I'm not too terribly worried about the mono white player. They don't have a whole lot of card advantage. You could have all the mana in the world, but if you have nothing to use it on, it's not that big of a deal. Basically, everyone's going to dump out their hands, and I have all the information I need to go from there. And because I'm in dead last and kind of hooking up people with the favor of Urn, maybe they leave me alone. This deck's all about rubber banding itself. You don't do hardly anything in the opening turns, and then you just rely on Zhulodok to fix all your problems. Chaos Warp. Did he hit a land? He must have. Winds of Change. Darn. I was pretty excited with this hand. Oh, this is not good. Maybe I should draw. Voltaic Key's not bad. That Winds of Change really messed me up. I could have played Voltaic Key, but I have nothing worth untapping, so I might as well just hold on to it. Ooh, Spiteful Banditry on 2. That kills a lot of stuff. Doesn't get the Zurzoth though. I wonder why he didn't go up to 3. He would have lost 2 tokens out of that exchange. Wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Could have just made more. I guess he's little devils that die. He could pick off the creatures that die. Yeah, he was just gonna kill him anyways.
Murdered little devils.
I would have just went to 3. I'm gonna see more devils, I'm sure. Spiteful Banditry. I've had friends that were super stoked on that card because they thought it triggered on everything that died. It only triggers once a turn. So it doesn't matter how many creatures die, you're only gonna get 1 treasure per turn. It's unfortunate, but it's still a really good card. It kind of has a mix of Meat Hook Massacre. I've seen people play Spiteful Banditry for 2 or X is 0 just to get that value from things dying every turn. It's just a really flexible card. It's like the Boros player likes their precon. I'll tell them I like mine too. Even though it's just having a lackluster showing. It's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I'm still at a healthy life total. I was asked, how is my deck a precon? I'm well under the budget of what it is online to build it. It'd be pretty funny if I'm forced to discard Voltaic Key. I get punished for not playing it. Oh my goodness. Now I feel dumb. I guess he had no reason not to attack me. I'm the most open. He's all about making devils. What a blunder. Oh well, I would have rather discarded anything else. That maybe the trading post I'm unwilling to give up because it's a really good tech in this deck. Good news is I'm doing pretty solid on my next turn. Might be behind in board status, but I'm curious now that I played this Skyclave Relic and I have enough mana to just start doing things if people start beating on me now. I think I have enough mana for both Ugin and Zhulodok. No combat. Odo went to combat. He played Captain's Call, which makes 3/1/1 soldiers. Man, I'm not playing well right now. I could have played Trading Post for 2 mana. Jeez. I guess I'm keeping my hand nice and thick for, this discard trigger that the red player keeps making me do. Keeping my hand nice and big so I don't lose the things I really care about, but that's me making happy accidents, the famous words of Bob Ross. Got another Felidar retreat. It's a lot of Felidars. And a Soul Sister. They also played an Emeria. I think they're turned on in terms of lands. Yeah, they're about to get the 7th one, and then they could start pulling stuff from their graveyard. That's pretty sweet. See what they make me discard. Dang, I was really excited about that Ugin play. This Soul Sister is going to be pretty amazing with the mono red deck and this Boros deck here. They both seem to make a lot of bodies, and the Soul Warden counters the Impact Tremors really nicely. Everyone else will suffer, but the mono white player will not. On a lighter note, people are low on cards. What is this? Otherworld Atlas. Put a charge counter on it. Each player draws a card for each charge counter on it. Wow, let's get my commander down. Oops. I don't know why I still have mana floating. Oh well. I wish I had white floating still. I thought I had to tap all 6. I don't know why I have extra. How can I fix this? Play this for 1 and then play this. Yeah, we'll do that. More happy accidents, everybody.
And I know this is going to look like we're destroying everything. Don't worry about it. We don't make mistakes.
Get all these sweet cascade triggers. Mind's Eye is nice. Ooh, this is perfect. Commander costs 6. So this does sweep up my commander, but I could take care of a lot of this obnoxious stuff. Kind of don't want to give up my board. Tough decision. I do want to deny the exiling trigger from a Boros player. Yeah, I think it's just suck it up and give up my commander. Could always cast him again. I think I made the wisest decision right here. I only lost 2 pieces while everyone else lost significantly more. Now I have some mana to get some card draw with Mind's Eye. Better than nothing. I think Greed is nice. It's a free play, free to equip to Zhulodok. A little protection. Hopefully I'm not forced to discard it. Oh man, I actually really like my hand a lot though. I kind of don't want to be forced to discard anything. City on Fire. I actually really like this card. Glad I took away all those creatures because he would have been able to convoke it out for nothing and probably kill us all because that's triple damage. In Marialand, he brought back his Luminous Aspirant. Being of his combo, he gets to put a +1/+1 counter in something. It works great in his deck because it keeps Mikaeus from killing himself. Makes sense why it's in the deck. I don't know what share. It chose cons. So he gets to put 2 counters on something each combat. So he's putting 3 counters on something. That's pretty sick. Gets to turn Mikaeus into an 8/8. Ugin seems to be my bad luck card. Every game I've been able to play this deck, Ugin's been like the butt end of a joke. I've had him stolen from me. I've had him milled. I've had him discarded. The list goes on. Like every chance I could have the play of if something happens where it just doesn't work out. He's probably one of the best cards in this deck though, because it makes both my artifacts and my Eldrazi 2 less. And there's no other coupon in the game that does it with the exception of Helm of Awakening, but that helps everybody out. I run both in the deck because I think I could take better advantage of Helm of Awakening than most can. Just gonna equip the Greaves and hit me again because I'm open. Got rid of my Lightning Greaves. Unfortunately 1 short. So I'm casting Skirting Invasion. I guess I could have a bunch of mana left up for my Mind's Eye. Could also activate War Room. I don't know why I would do that though. Soul Ring's nice. I'm gonna make this Zhulodok trigger a bunch of times. And Winding Clock. That seems like a weird fit in here. I haven't seen a whole lot of threatening artifacts. Kind of want to find my Forsaken Monument and get my health total back up. I'll have a couple of chances here. I got a lot of cards in hand. I think I could string together enough big spells to cascade 3 times or get 3 Zhulodok triggers. If he doesn't die, triple damage. Just whacked you for 6. Bringing back the Vizier Remedies. People don't play Vizier Remedies fairly. It's usually some kind of combo enabler. If you put a -1/-1 counter on something, it's reduced by 1. So if you have an ability that specifically only applies 1, you put nothing on it and you could do it infinitely, whatever it is. Usually you see that kind of setup in things with Devoted Druid. Just make it a fan of green mana. Curious who attacks this Mikaeus. It's huge. It's a so it's be a 12/12. I imagine it'll be me because I'm seeing the most cards and I don't want to give up my blocker versus everyone's got a bunch of... Oh, never mind. He had Rogue's Passage, so he could hit whoever. I imagine he hits the red player. Their deck is synergizing really nicely right now. That's a lot of damage. We're all in a bit of a standoff here. Dang. This triggers on even the devil tokens he makes. That's so annoying. I was like, the only time I've seen anything attack that was the devil over here was his commander, so I just assumed it was only his commander that could get that trigger, but it's all, he could get 3 of those triggers and just make 3 more. He's about to drain us for a lot of, oh, hits the Boros player. Did not see that coming. This is lethal, I think. Yeah, that's lethal damage. He's already hit him for 12. That's pretty scary. Oh man, my chances are better against the devil player here, but either or, they're both pretty scary. Making us draw 2 cards, make 2 more devils, shoot us 2 more times. I'll make it worse and just draw another card. I do think the red and white player are going to try and kill each other, and I'll be left with trying to deal with the fallout. I definitely need to find that Forsaken Monument, and that'll let me see a little bit more turns. At least I got some fodder for these devil tokens. Got 5 lands off these last 5 draws. Got through that pocket quite nicely. Witty Roastmaster's good in this deck. It's basically Impact Tremors, only it's a creature that costs 3 mana. You can max get 1, because it says 1 or more on the clauses, both for players and for creatures. Just taking it back. I wonder why. Can't block his commander right now. He might as well go balls to the wall. His Mikaeus is within Blasphemous Act range for now. If he makes it to his combat step, it will be out of probably the red player's wheelhouse to deal with. And I have 1 more board wipe in my deck. It's the All Is Dust. Well, I'm going to paint a big target on my back for the Mikaeus player. Let's play, where's this tower? Soul Ring. My Kozilek is a lot worse because now I have a full grip of cards. Hopefully the mono white player doesn't come up with a way to get double strike on Mikaeus. Wow, that hurts. I have a lot of non-basics in my hand, or in play. Price of Progress, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down to 8 life. Okay, let's find that Forsaken Monument, please, because I doubt I'll see next turn with this kind of board that he's got. Wait, what happened? Choose target artifact. Oh, it's any artifact? That's pretty wild. I thought it was just this, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Helm of Awakening, Strionic, Mystic Forge. Well, I'm having a lot of opportunities to find said spell. That's pretty awesome. Do I have enough mana to cast it? Go to 4. I can go up to 7. I'm sure. Oh, I have all of these. Yeah, let's do it. Take an extra turn. We'll keep finding, or we'll keep searching. Exactly 12. This is a pretty sweet play here. Blow up a permanent. I'm at the mercy of so many things. I either take my chances with the red deck or take my chances. I think I take away the Rogue's Passage here. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of ways to deal with lands, so. Hey, my Forsaken Monument's on top of my library. Do I have enough mana to play it, though? It's 3 less. I'll just use the mana to equip Zhulodok here. Well, I'm glad I went with my choice of blowing up the land, because now I have the Forsaken Monument and I can get out of this guy's range of killing me, even with all of his obnoxious stuff. Does Emeria get any permanent, or is it just yeah, it's just a creature. So I'm feeling pretty good here. Discarding a bunch of lands. All right, let's play the Forsaken, start fixing my health total problem here. Cast it for free. This is gonna be a really long turn. I might be able to close this game out just with this 1 turn. Or set of turns. It's like the top card in my library. And I think Malware Colossus is free. Nice. Clock of Omens. Hell yeah. I'm going to wait till the very last moment to cast the Spine of Ishsa. All Is Dust. That's perfect. Now I've officially dealt with the red player. 6. Do my Spine. Sack it to Ingenuity Engine. Bring it back with its death trigger. That's so awesome. I also have a Strionic Resonator, but if I haven't had a good opportunity to weave that in here. Maybe on the Spine cast I'll do that. Only 4 to cast the Spine of Ishsa. Feels good. The mono red player surrendered. The mono white player surrendered as well. That extra turn spell is awesome in this deck because not only does it have double cascade triggers, but it also gives you a bonus turn to string together more free spells the following turn. And, you know, the other things is just kind of like, who cares? Like, destroying a permanent and drawing 4 cards is like
negligible.
Which is kind of wild to say. I think I'm going to give it to the guy playing the mono red devil deck. It's kind of cool. The reason why it has those 3 cast triggers on it, it's a spell that can't be countered, so that's awesome. They take all the parts of the original Eldrazi Titans and just put their cast triggers into 1 card, and that's why it's super cool. But that's how the deck normally plays. You just sit around doing nothing for the longest time, and then you kind of depend on finding your Forsaken Monument, and then just gain all that life that you lost in the early to mid game, and just completely rubber band yourself and undo the first parts of the game. I did get to show you the sweet tech with Ingenuity Engine. It's way better than I thought. I didn't know you could sack any artifact and return any artifact. As I was planning, I could do some broken stuff with Spine of Ishsa. When I was building this deck originally, I had no intentions of doing that. I mostly built this, or chose this card because it could bounce itself and keep getting more cascade triggers. The other hidden tech is the affinity for artifact creatures, which is Sojourner's Companion. It's the weird little salamander. Affinity for artifacts, I normally cast it for 0, and modifying the CMC in this deck is perfectly fine because it still triggers Zhulodok no matter what, which is why I'm leaning more heavily into the artifact piece of this deck, because reducing cost of artifacts is a heck of a lot easier than reducing casting cost of Eldrazi spells. So if you're interested in just playing Eldrazi, sorry, I just prefer functionality over form, and that's just better. The other one is Myr Enforcer. This also has affinity for artifacts, so I feel like just those 3 cards alone, Wizards kind of like pooped the bed in making a really solid deck. They could have made it a lot better with just those 3 cards. And the other hidden tech is, I've already talked about, is Erratic Portal and Trading Posts, which are both for $4.18. There are also overperformers in this deck that aren't included in the original list. I have way better lands and everything's under $5. Clock of Omens is also sweet. I had plenty of artifacts to tap. You could also tap itself to untap your artifacts, and normally I use this to untap one of my greater rocks, like Thran Dynamo or something like that, and that's an option. The better targets are obviously my Trading Post and my Erratic Portal. And that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed. I plan on doing deck building videos for the Wilds of Eldraine. I'm behind in doing the content that I wanted to do for Commander Masters. Doctor Who spoilers don't start until October 3rd. I hope that excites everyone. I think people are a little drained about it. I like talking about spoilers because I'm thinking about applications for the cards that are coming out, and it helps you discern what's worth your time owning and what's not worth your time. I like that aspect of education, and I like the gameplay videos because you get to see my card selection in practice. The deck building thing, I think, is the new like kind of educational piece that I'm going to start doing on my channel that I'm quite excited for. I've gotten some feedback that people want to see that, but if people don't,
just tell me what you want.
Just let me know in the comments below, and I'll do it like every other deck or something like that. But if you think it's awesome, I'll keep doing it, or every gameplay video, I'll kind of like pair them together. I'll release the deck building video first, and then I'll follow up with the gameplay. This thing has been sitting on the back burner for so long, I couldn't afford to just like keep on doing nothing with it. So that's why I didn't do a deck building video for this. And I just want to honor the things that I said I was going to do and fulfill that promise. I'm a man of action. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I don't want to, I guess, lessen the meaning of my word. If you stuck around to the end, thank you so much. If you liked what you saw, subscribe. I'm going to keep releasing more content for all y'all. Have a good one. Bye.